some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah, hope I get away with it. Oh, doo-dah day.
Good evening, and welcome to Stupid O'Clock. We don't know where Joe is, and we don't know how to contact Mayfield Dairy to see if we can get his picture on a milk carton. So we're just going to go ahead and do the show anyway. We got our regular crew of miscreants with us tonight, except for Joe, Dan Hollyfield, and of course, Bill Sartain. Shazang.
Oh.
Okay. And with us tonight, Kiri. Hey, you're
getting a face reveal today.
What? Oh no, we have to look at his face. Uh-oh.
That doesn't seem to be a problem.
I know,
See his head.
Him and Kyle used to do that too, is do the avatar thing.
Oh yeah. Well, Skunk was rather proud of the animation he did with his furry avatar, and
hey, don't make me put on my green T-shirt. That was fun.
That was.
I may have to do that again.
But you gotta do the one with the Rosie Greer head next to you though. The next time you do that.
I think I copied that. It just couldn't get it to. I got to size it right, or do this one of the other.
And everybody will think it's Zaphod Beeblebrox instead of the thing with two heads.
President of the Galaxy. I'm still trying to find somebody that knows how to make a pan-galactic gargle blast.
Don't look at me. I've read the recipe lots of times, but I can't find the ingredients.
I think I found like 5 different recipes, and I'm not real impressed with any of them. So.
This is true. But when you're talking about a drink that once you imbibe it, it makes you feel like you've had your brain smashed out by a large gold brick.
Wrapped in lemon.
Wrapped in a lemon, yes. That's not one of those things you're going to find in your standard bartender's manual, especially not if it's from Old Mr. Boston.
I finally, just now before the show started, I finally got to watch Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh
no!
Only took me 2 years to get around to it.
Hey,
Man, I just hate Star Wars. I'll tell you, I would never ever.
Anyway,
I mean, I would never.
Anyway,
you keep walking into.
Wait a minute! Oh God! Oh, how did I get this on?
You bought it from Marvel Comics.
Flea marketing? No.
John, you were supposed to go along with the joke, and
I did.
So how high did the Skywalker rise?
Pretty good. She had some jumps on her there. But, it was.
I'd have to watch it again. I watched it as soon as it hit DVD.
I can't understand all the hatred for it that a lot of people had.
There's a lot of that. There's been several movies that people go, "Oh, this is the worst thing ever, ruined my childhood," and I'm going, if that ruined your childhood, you must have had a really crappy childhood to start with.
Hey, Carl.
Hey, Carl. No, it's a movie. Sort of like.
I'm wondering if it's just because of J.J. Abrams. He got that. All those people talking about how terrible he was as a person while he was directing the thing. Everybody feels like he treated people terribly and prima donna and all that sort of stuff like that. And
well,
J.K. Rowling did her thing where she was talking about trans women and stuff like that. Everybody was all, "Oh, she's a horrible person now." And
it turned out she was a horrible person all along. She doesn't change anything that she wrote, but
she didn't say anything terrible. She just said something they didn't like.
Yeah, they were offended.
Yes.
Well, when you attack my children, I would get kind of offended. Yes, and she pretty much attacked at least 2 of my children, so yeah, I can understand the offense. And yeah, I'm not going to jump up and down and say, "Oh, she's the worst thing ever," and "Oh, this ruins my childhood," because it didn't. It just means she's a crappy person. Doesn't change a word that she wrote.
Sure.
I mean, just look at Harlan Ellison. He was not the
Oh, no.
shining example of humanity that people would hold him up to be. He was
But
a
he
bit
wrote
of a
well.
dick.
Yes.
It doesn't
Oh.
change a word that he wrote. It's still good writing, still good stories. Um,
I have a lot of artist friends that they're when they voice their personal views on their pages, I don't always agree with them. Sometimes I don't understand what they're saying, so I just kind of scroll on by. But
mm,
just because I don't agree with them doesn't mean I don't think that they're any less talented or
yeah,
anything like that. It's just everybody has their own opinion, and that's what it is. It, you know, uh, not right, not wrong. It's their opinion.
yeah.
And, if somebody says, "Oh, I'm offended by your opinion," uh, then that's as judgmental as the original person making it. So I let it go. I let them say what they want to say. There's one particular friend of mine that I love his Sunday comics, and he's just a wonderful artist, and he's actually a good writer too. Although he has somebody that's doing most of the writing now, and that, but he gets a little out of whack sometimes.
Mm,
And you know what? I'll just scroll by that and go to what I like. And that's just what I tell people. Go to what you like. Don't attack the other person. Just, go be with the people that you do like or
mm.
agree with or can stand or whatever.
Well, I'm not gonna post stuff like, "Oh, don't buy their stuff. They're assholes." I'm gonna go, "Well, they're assholes, but they've got some good stuff out there." You
Hey, Donna.
know. Hey, Donna. No, I don't think Bill's talking about you. I don't think.
No, no.
Carl?
Speaking of writers that are dicks,
No.
did you hear somebody stab Salman Rushdie?
Yes,
Oh, I
and he
heard.
is still in intensive care. He quite possibly, well, almost definitely has lost the sight in one eye. He's got liver damage. Been Oh man, he's still even after I think it was something like 18 hours of surgery. It it's still a coin toss as to whether or not he's going to live through this.
I've been
How
hearing.
many times did he get stabbed anyway?
We're not sure.
15,
What's it? 15?
15
They
to
finally
18.
said. Okay.
I've
Well,
been hearing.
Oh, wow.
they were saying 15, and another news site was saying 18 yesterday, while the surgery was going on. But yeah, and
I've been hearing that
Hey, Sarah.
the Iranian government put a bounty on the guy.
Oh, long time ago. Matter of
yeah,
fact,
back
there's
in the
a
70s,
Mhm.
back when
80s. Yep.
back when Satanic Verses
the
was published.
was it Khomeini, Ayatollah Khomeini that put
Yes,
the
it was.
fatwa on him,
Yep.
death
Hmm.
sentence basically, and then
Basically, yeah.
they put a $2.8 million bounty on him, and people have been donating to it ever since. And now it's like up to 3.3 million.
Yep, and the kid's lawyers, the one that stabbed him, is not going to be able to touch that money. So, and he's going to wind up in prison for the rest of his life. So he's not going to be able to touch it.
Well, I've never read the book either.
I guess that
No.
just means it doesn't matter how
It's
how
kind of
high
funny
of a bounty that you put on somebody. He kind of outlived it.
So far.
so far. Yes, and I hope the bounty
Mm-hmm.
goes to pay. I hope they confiscate the bounty and put it toward his medical bill.
That would be nice. That
Yeah.
would be nice.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah. Well, I mean, If your religion is so flimsy that it can be attacked by
By
a book,
people. Oh, your God can be hurt by people? Not much of a God, is he?
Not mine.
really,
Oh,
Wait a minute. You mean I said something that makes me stronger than your God? Hey, you just made my day. John Scarlett.
yeah,
God
that's
Slayer.
yeah. Don't audition for The Flash. They're ending the show.
Yeah, well, just what I need.
Yeah, hey,
Um, you know, Sarah was just mentioning that about, never read the book. I can remember thinking, I need to buy a copy of this book just to piss off an Iranian. And then I saw a bunch of reviews on the book, and every book reviewer said the same thing. It's a piece of crap. I'm like, oh well.
yeah. Well, popular opinion was back when it was written, it was not very well written, but doesn't seem to matter to the extremists who want to put death
But
threats out on anybody that.
There's that old P.T. Barnum thing about, I don't care what you say about me as long as you spell my name right, which basically translates out as any publicity is good publicity. And
Yeah.
they probably, the Iranian government, the Ayatollah Khomeini, probably sold 30 million copies of that book with all that.
Inadvertently, yes. Most of the rest of the world would not have known the damn thing ever existed if it hadn't been for all the outrage.
The fatwa should have said Salman Rushdie's an idiot. Don't buy his book. That should have ended it right there.
That would have made sense. Yeah.
And then,
Yet we're still talking about him.
Two of the guys that were translators for the book, they were translating it to Iranian. Okay. One was stabbed and killed. The other was stabbed and, survived. So apparently, but Iranians just like stabbing people. So the moral of the story is don't give Iranians sharp things. Don't let them run with scissors. Don't buy them pocket knives.
He killed 3 men with a pencil. Yes.
Don't laugh.
Yes.
That is one of my big arguments about weapons, gun control and all that sort of stuff like that. I would love to be in a room with Nancy Pelosi when she says we need to ban AR-15s and pull out my pencil and go, do me a favor, put your hand on the table. And watch her pull her hand back and go, what's the matter?
It's not like it was an AR-15.
It's not AR-15. It's a pencil. Hey, every school in the country has a few thousand of these laying around. Okay?
And they give them to children every
Exactly.
day.
It's funny you should mention that, John, because I just saw a post, and I think it's one of our commenters, might have been Walt or I forget who it was. Maybe
He's got
Chris.
a high-capacity magazine for his pencil.
Yeah. There's a school in North Carolina that they are acquired AR-15s.
The sheriff's department, I think it was, or the police department, I can't remember which, wanted to give all these school, what's that?
The security guards.
Resource officers wanted to give them all AR-15s. Which I can tell you right off the bat, when I joined the Army, went through basic training down at Fort Benning, Georgia, got my orders, went to Berlin. Okay. First time I'd ever been out of the country or anything like that. Land in the airport. You get off the airplane, you go through the little gate thing. You go through, and we went to Berlin-Tegel Airport. Berlin-Tegel Airport is kind of like a semicircle airport. And all the gates stick out from it toward the airfield. So when you go in, it's a big semicircular hall. You come in, and the first thing you see when you walk in, there's all the traditional, benches for people to rest on while they're waiting on planes, stuff like that. And then they had the customs offices, the little booths you had to go through, kind of like ticket office sort of thing. But right on top of that, on top of all these buildings where the customs offices are, and stuff like that, there's a big angled shelf, I guess you'd call it. At the top of it, there's a guardrail on top of it, and there's two guys from the German police sitting up there with H&K submachine guns strapped to their chest, watching you get off the plane. It makes an impression. And I remember looking up that going, these people aren't kidding. Of course, everywhere he went in Germany, they had all the anti-terrorism posters with the Red Army faction terrorists and stuff like that. And Barbara Meyer and whatever. I remember half the names on. It's kind of funny. You go past the guard shack and occasionally there'd be a big red X over one of them where they got the guy, and you'd be walking in drunk from a bar, look over the poster, hey, they got another one.
You know what amuses me? AR-15 is not that good a rifle.
It depends. I mean, it's not.
It's not fantastic.
It's not as good as an AK-47, but
yes, it's better in some things, not as good in others. It's an intermediate rifle. It's designed to do a lot of things, but it doesn't really do any of them really well.
Yeah, it's like a Swiss Army knife it has a blade you can cut through a tree branch, but it's nowhere near as good as a chainsaw.
Well, yeah. Or
the main thing is it's a damn sight better than a handgun. So
it has a file on it, but you wouldn't want to use it to sharpen an axe.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. It might handle a broken fingernail, though.
And it's got a toothpick, but who wants to use the same toothpick over and over and over?
People that buy Swiss Army knives, obviously.
Well, I think with some of the semi-automatic weapons that a lot of these shooters are getting a hold of these days, and that you need to have the security equipped to be able to respond to it, and just with a handgun is just not going to do it.
I can remember, but you guys are older. Carrie probably doesn't remember this one, but when we were kids, all the police officers had 38 revolvers, 38 Smith & Wessons, maybe 45s, depending on which police department you saw. And I remember a few of them went to 357s, just because they wanted a little extra firepower. Something that actually go through a car if somebody was hiding behind a car. That sort of thing. And I can remember when they started talking about needing more firepower and switched over to 9mm pistols, because most of the 9mm pistols have a 15-round magazine, not a 6-shot revolver, and B, they're faster to reload.
Yeah.
And I can remember that particularly. Every police department in the country started carrying 9mm. Some carried 45s or 40s or something like that. But most of them went to, even today, most of them carry 9mm. And and you start seeing a lot of the police officers, they've got the AR-15 in the trunk for tactical responses. Just because you might get into a situation where you need some more firepower. And school resource officers may be getting into that situation where they're going to need some more firepower. And my opinion, I don't like the idea of, like I said, the armed police officer with the submachine gun across his chest makes an impression. I don't know if that's the impression you want to give to kids, but not with a police officer anyway. But maybe that's what they, I haven't been to school in a while. Other than picking up kids at kindergarten, but maybe that's what the police officers are needing in high school nowadays.
Well, I think with the exception of Carrie, all the rest of us, since we've been out of school, I mean, just walking through metal detectors was just out of sight. Who could have imagined that ever being the norm?
I had one of these in my pocket. I always carry a knife in my pocket when I go out, because you never know.
Yeah.
And I took this to Six Flags. Went through the metal. They would not let me into Six Flags with this in my pocket.
Wow.
This. Maybe they take that army knife part of the description too literally. Like I'm a Swiss trained commando. I can kill you with every blade, screwdriver, all. I know how to kill you with the toothpick. You know,
and if I'm really upset, I'll use the corkscrew just for fun.
Just make me tweezer.
Well, yeah, that harkens back to Bill Murray's a little bit with the Swiss Army knife and meatballs. I will take that mofo and twist it and twist it and twist it.
You know, that is the one thing. I've got 2 Swiss Army knives here at the house.
Good morning, Mike Jimmy.
That's the 2 things. I've had 2 Swiss Army knives. Neither one of them has corkscrew.
Really?
Yeah. Of course, how often do you see a wine bottle? That you're going to need a Swiss Army knife.
Well, that I can't find a corkscrew. I've been to hotels where I had to go down to the desk and go, y'all got a corkscrew I can borrow? I mean, seriously.
I love these little things.
All those nice.
It would help if I turned it on the right computer. My keyboard is switchable between 3 computers, and I'm trying to put down the link for Last Man, and I forgot to switch it to this computer.
It's got a little serrated, I don't know if you can see that, it's a serrated hook blade for taking the covers off the top of the cork on the wine bottle, for cutting the covers off, like aluminum foil and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you got the corkscrew. There's your pry bar for putting it on top of the wine bottle and prying the thing up. And then, last but definitely not least in my case, it has a bottle opener.
Yeah.
Had a bottle opener.
I've got a Ozark Trail camping gear, knife, fork, spoon, bottle opener, corkscrew combination that I use at work for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, basically. Some people are still going, hey, that's so neat. Where did you get that? And I go, Walmart in the camping gear. Cost about $7.
I don't know if the Swiss Army actually has wine rations that you would need a corkscrew for in their rations.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if they make them for the French Army, and those are the ones with the corkscrew. But I don't know if the French Army has wine bottles in their rations either. They have these little packets of wine in the officers' meals. Not in the regular. The officers get a better meal than the enlisted people.
Drink pouch so they poke a little straw in and.
No, it looks like those little packets of salad dressing. It's about that size.
Mm-hmm.
And you just tear off the corner and either pour it into a cup or whatever you got handy, or drink it right out of the packet. But,
yeah, really. Just enough to wash down the dinner.
Basically. But I did like the French MRE, or the French ration at the time when I went to the French military school. They gave you 1 box of ration for a whole day. But it had 3 different meal selections and a whole bunch of little snacks in it, which was really cool. Came with the little Isbit fuel tabs for heating up your meal.
Yeah.
Came with like coffee and tea and drink mixes and like these sports cookies, like something energy cookies and stuff like that. That was pretty cool. Then they come up with really weird stuff like cans of liver pate. And
that's definitely not something that would be
kippers
popular in the U.S. Yeah, kippers. Yeah, pickled herring. Isn't that what it is?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
It's some sort of fish. Once they put it in the
Sounds
can
like-
and mix it with all the sauce, there's no telling what the hell kind of fish it is.
Sounds like something the RAF would have.
And it's really weird. But it was weird having all those damn cans. That was kind of,
Oh yeah. Instead of foil packets.
everything in the MREs foil packets and stuff like that. And you had to. Some of them actually had the old-fashioned key. You had to wind around the edge of the can to get the lid off. That took an hour, and then you had to do something with the can. But, you can't. Can you imagine having to pack out a can with sardine juice in it?
No, but I can imagine putting those little folding shovels to good use and getting rid of my trash.
We weren't supposed to do that because we were training in the German National Forest, and they didn't like you digging holes in your forest. They didn't mind if you dug a foxhole, but if you buried your trash, they'd fine you and 3 generations of your ancestors. They'd send a bill to your grandkids after you died.
My first impulse to that is not only not printable, but not able to be spoken aloud on YouTube.
Yeah.
Pickling, and he mentioned this here. Pickling is actually a very ancient form of food preservation.
Yes, it is.
They used to pickle.
It goes back before the Middle Ages, actually.
Big time. I mean, like going back to what's one of the really old ones?
Well, late Iron Age is as early as I can figure.
Cuneiform. Who's that ancient civilization? Not Babylon, but earlier than that.
That would have been
No. Before Syrians, before the Egyptians, there was this ancient empire over in that neck of the woods, and their language was called cuneiform, and
the writing was.
The writing was.
It was basically little wedges
or something.
Yeah. The spoken bit might have been Sanskrit for all we know, but the written form, you had to write it in wet clay tablets, and it was all these little greater than, less than signs in different directions.
Right.
That would have been Caledonia or. You're looking for the era of Hammurabi.
Cuneiform.
Yeah.
I spelled it wrong again. Cuneiform.
Cuneiform.
Ancient Mesopotamia, Persia, Ugarit. Darn it! What's that? Gilgamesh.
Yes. The name of the city. No.
That was ancient Babylon. I'm trying to think of the. It's
it was south of Babylon.
Yes, I know. I've driven past it, which is kind of funny.
They invented beer. Yes,
possibly.
Well, there have been recipes that's been found. So
right.
They wrote down recipes for beer. I won't say that they invented it, but
it was an ancient empire. They were multi-theological. They would adopt gods from other countries. They were around when the Egyptian empire came to power.
I still want to say it's the Chaldeans. Yeah. Yes, of course, Dan would know about who wrote down the first recipes for beer. Yeah. Bottoms up. Bob's your uncle.
Elsprague de Camp, ancient engineers. Why can I not remember the name of this ancient empire?
No, Minoans were in the middle of the Mediterranean, Carl.
But you're getting closer. Time period's about right.
Yeah. I heard a ping. Okay, it's not anybody on my show, so which would be 2 hours early. We don't have anybody else popping in here. I don't know. Maybe I just got an email on this computer. Mesopotamia. Yeah, well, that's like saying, well, it's part of Europe.
Yeah, really.
Is
it? Um, not known. Now, it was this one empire. Mesopotamia is an area, and yes, they had people, but I'm trying. It was north of Assyria, north and east of Assyria. I can picture it in my mind. I just can't remember the name of the people. And I think they invented the chariot.
Macedonia.
Oh, that's part of Greece.
Yeah, and
It was before them, actually. And the people I'm thinking about were before them. I just can't remember.
Messy Marvin. Oh, no, wait a minute. That was a commercial.
Mike, Jimmy, Mesopotamia was the entire region,
Yes.
like Europe. He's trying to find one little country.
There's this one.
And I've told him the name of it about 5 times now, and he still hasn't listened.
No, you haven't. It didn't click in.
Caledonia.
No.
Yes.
Caledonia.
No, that's near Scotland.
Cordoba. Oh, no. That's
rich Corinthian leather.
Yeah, that was Fantasy Island guy.
Oh, and you don't even drink to have an excuse.
I'm just drinking spring water tonight because it's late.
I think that spring has sprung.
It did.
Uruk, Esser, Persepolis is closer to
Ur is
Greece.
a city. No, this was an empire. They had several cities, and they had a great empire.
Meanwhile,
they're one of the older
Not going to make any.
You're naming cities, Mike.
Mike, get some coffee. You're still asleep.
Well, while you're figuring out the empire, I'm gonna be right back real quick.
All right.
It
bugs me when there's something I know and I just can't get the name out of my brain.
Google it. That's what Laura says.
I've been trying it, but I'm
Trying.
Googling it.
Well, while you're Googling, or goggling, or giggling, or higgling, I picked up a few things today while antiquing original 1966 Revolver album. Also, I picked up original Magical Mystery Tour album with the booklet inside from the movie. And ironically enough, when I went to pull out the album to check it, which all these albums, I've been really lucking out on the shape of the albums. I can't wait to get a new phonograph and start playing these. But it had an insert that actually belonged in the Sgt. Pepper album.
Huh.
Uncut. This was the original, and you would like cut these, and then this one to make buttons, you'd pull those flaps over, and then you had the Beatles, and then of course you could be Sgt. Pepper. And so because I didn't have a Sgt. Pepper album, I knew where one was. So I went and got it, and it was the original one,
All right.
and it did not have this in it. So now this has a home. And
I found it. I found the empire I was thinking
oh,
of.
okay. Ottoman? No.
Hittite.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
Hittite.
yeah.
Hittite.
Yes. And boy, were we all off.
Sumerians, Chaldeans. Ryan.
Yeah.
Hello, Ryan.
Yes.
See, Ryan
Nope.
could have told us right from the beginning if he would have got in here sooner
I bet
tonight.
he could have.
I'm telling you. You think you can depend on people.
I was reading something, and I think it was Ancient Engineers actually, where
Yeah.
they were talking about the reason that so many Egyptian monuments and statues still exist after 5,000 plus years, and all these ancient Babylonian and Hittite statues don't exist, is the quality of stone that they had available. The
Yeah.
Egyptians had good granite, and what was the other one they used? Was limestone?
Well, they use limestone and a little bit of sandstone, but that sandstone wears away, and limestone, if you're in a place where there's not much rainfall, limestone is pretty good. Marble.
Marble, yeah, thank you. And that's the reason that you don't see any of the ancient Babylonian and ancient,
They had a bad habit of using mud bricks a lot too.
so,
And, the Egyptians kept telling them, everybody must get stoned.
and they didn't listen.
Yeah,
yes,
Keith
hey,
Keith Richards
Ryan?
kept telling them, "Hey, it's okay."
Ryan, I finally got to see Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker tonight. I've just been blowing it off. Every time it was going to come on, I never recorded it. I don't know why, but every time I would find it on the channel search, it was already on. And I didn't want to miss, 10, 15, 30 minutes in the beginning or whatever. So I kept blowing it off, but I finally got to sit down and watch it today.
But did you get a rise out of it?
Maybe. Hey, Daisy's kind of cute. Okay.
I know this isn't the green room.
Daisy Ridley.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to step over here and get another beer. I
Mike,
shall return.
I would love to
you
go
have
see
been
the Louvre.
warned.
I would love to go see the Louvre in Paris. I've never actually been to Paris, but I did get to go to the Pergamon Museum in Berlin. Strange enough, back when it was East Berlin, and and again in West Berlin. They've got this really cool spot right in the middle of Berlin. It's called Museum Island, and it's in the middle of the canal. The canal goes around it. And there's this island right in the middle. They have 5 museums on one little island. One the island's about the size of a city block, a little bigger maybe. And you walk out of the bridge, go out on the museum island. And when I went there, 3 of the 5 museums were still destroyed. They still had bomb damage from World War II. The East Germans had never bothered to fix them. And then the Pergamon Museum, they'd repaired. And that was the one you could go tour, and it was great. It had all sorts of really cool. They have the Babylon Gate, which is awesome. They have the whole gate in the museum. It's like 3 stories high and 5 stories wide, and just awesome. Blue glazed bricks. Can you imagine walking through the desert and coming up on something like that?
You thought it was a mirage.
Yeah, Paris sucks, but the museums rock. Skywalker's last movie that Ryan saw in a theater.
Did they ever fix their sewer system? That's all I want to know.
No, it's still full of Parisians. Oh wait. Okay. Anyway, there's another museum. There's 2 museums I really want to go see in the world. I would love to go see the Egyptian Museum, of course, in Cairo.
Yep.
And then I'd like to go through the new library in Alexandria. If you ever get a chance, Google Map it, because this is really cool. They've had the entire inside and outside of the library at Alexandria Google mapped. You can do the street view and take a tour of the library and see all the old artwork and new artwork. It's kind of interesting. They'll have something that's really ancient, like from Egyptian times, and then they'll have a new artist, like Banksy, or right next to it. It's like, okay. But I'd like to go see that one. I'd like to go see the Hermitage in St. Petersburg.
Oh, that one.
Except for one problem. It's in Russia. And if they keep making nuclear threats, it may not be there much longer.
Yeah.
Better hurry then.
Hey, the only people that have to be afraid of Russian nuclear weapons
Or Russians.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
only people that have to be afraid of Russian rockets are the people on the launch pad.
Well, my bucket list is I want to go to the museum that has the Van Gogh displays of all his paintings. I'm kind of wondering if I could hitch a ride with her and Matt Smith.
Paris. I'm trying to.
Hey,
the Musée. Oh, what was that called? The Musée
d'Orsay.
Musée d'Orsay. That's the one.
That's where the majority of them, not all of them, but the majority of them are there. And that's actually referencing my favorite Doctor Who episode, Vincent and the Doctor. That's actually where they went.
I think that is actually the episode that killed Doctor Who.
Because you couldn't get any better.
Exactly. It's written so well. It set the bar so high that everything else Doctor Who can't jump it.
I think the episode after that, you saw Fonzie jumping the TARDIS, and then it just went all downhill.
But
I had a debate on my Twitch stream a couple of months back. Somebody was wanting to see an American Doctor Who, and I literally cringed at the thought of that. It's like, no.
That'd be like a British Batman or something.
Exactly.
Don't laugh. There was almost an American James Bond. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there was once for 60 minutes.
Matt Helm. But
fortunately, it was stillborn. That's...
Well, no, it was a TV movie,
and that didn't even do well there either.
Hey, but it had some fantastic people in it. It did actually do well for its time, but that was before anybody else knew that there was such a thing as James Bond.
Doctor Who missed a huge opportunity when they were trying to get all these new doctors and they couldn't figure out who they were going to get, and the Harry Potter series ended. I seriously wanted to see Rupert Grint, be the next Doctor Who.
Finally, Ginger, yes.
And exactly, the minute he regenerates, he starts looking at himself and looks at his hair and goes, Ginger!
Yeah.
Yes, and
then Tina Louise shows up, and
you could say that Paul McGann's TV movie that was half Canadian and half British was actually the American Doctor Who, because it was supposedly a pilot for a possible American Doctor Who series, which would have screwed the pooch really well, but the movie by itself is not entirely horrible. I really enjoyed it because it came through the wilderness years when it had been a long time since Sylvester McCoy's last episode, and there was no new Doctor Who in sight that was not either print or audio only. And I love the movie. I really love McGann as a doctor. He nailed it. Didn't have a whole lot of good script to work with, but it wasn't painful except for maybe one or two scenes. And other than that, I'm very glad that when they started the 2005 revival, they kept going, they kept going, and kept going, and they finally acknowledged that that was real, along with the audio adventures from Big Finish,
Mhm.
and that was in the little short uh, Night of the Doctor, which is McGann's second Doctor Who episode, if you count the movie as the first one. And that was the origin of the War Doctor, as
Dan,
well as yes.
you are a big Doctor. You and your wife are both big Doctor Who fans.
No, my wife is, and I am. Yeah.
Okay. And oh, she isn't. I thought your wife was a big Doctor Who fan. Oh no,
No.
I'm sorry. That's Donna. That's Carl's wife.
Yeah. My wife is British, but she's not. She got to watch it as a child, but she wasn't that much of a fan.
Who would you like to see? Who do you think would have made an interesting Doctor Who? Just
That's a good one. Um,
I know one like from today. You mean?
anytime. Just like
Anytime. Sir
thought
John
about-
Gielgud.
Hmm?
Sir John
Benedict
Gielgud.
Cumberbatch.
Yeah, he would
I
have
think
been.
he's just quirky enough, and he proved that in Sherlock alone, let alone anything else he's done. But
Well, Doctor Strange would have been a better audition, but yeah. I
Gary?
think.
You got one?
what about Craig Ferguson, that guy that hosted that
Yes.
late
oh yeah,
Yep, and he's a really big fan of Doctor Who, and is a friend of the
Matt Smith.
no the
The guy who Moffat.
no
Oh, Stephen Moffat, David Tennant, Mickey Mouse. Right, it was Mickey Mouse.
Winston Churchill.
Adolf Hitler.
Napoleon Bonaparte. That's Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte to you.
Che Guevara.
Che Guevara. Okay.
Dick Dastardly and Muttley. Now now that we've given Dan a stroke.
No, you haven't given me a stroke. You just haven't given me a
Capaldi?
chance.
No.
Capaldi, yes, he
Oh,
and Craig Ferguson are great friends,
Oh,
as well as both of them being extreme Doctor Who fans.
the actor that played House,
oh yeah.
whose name escapes me at the moment.
Well, he was also in all 4 series of Blackadder.
Yes, he was at the Blackadder series with.
Mhm.
I was wanting to say his first name was Greg, but I think that was actually the name of House, his first name.
Darn it, that's driving me nuts now. Now I gotta Google
Now
it.
you have to Google it.
See, Doctor House.
He was awful. Well, at least in House, he was just awful cranky. Which I love that.
Hugh
series.
Laurie.
Hugh Laurie.
Hugh
Yeah.
Laurie. Yep.
You know what threw me off about trying to remember his name? Arlie Ermey.
Oh.
Arlie Ermey played his dad in the TV series House.
Now, if you've ever only run into Hugh Laurie in House, you should look up Blackadder and Fry and Laurie, and there's some other British comedy stuff that
Stephen
would
Fry.
Stephen Fry
Stephen
and,
Fry
and
would have been a good
Hugh
one.
Laurie. And Stephen Fry's been in briefly in one episode.
Eddie Izzard. I would have loved to have seen Eddie Izzard as a Doctor Who.
That's still possible. He ain't dead yet.
Okay, since Kerry mentioned Craig Ferguson, let's just say Jeffrey Peterson
Do we
as
have to?
the robotic Doctor Who. That was his Ed McMahon on Late Late Show.
Ian McShane.
Oh, there we go. Sorry,
He
Don.
always said balls all the time.
I am trying to read them, but strangely enough, we've got a lot of people on tonight. Maybe we need to kick Joe off more often.
Or maybe we need to get Joe to go to more conventions.
Stephen Fry.
Oh, Patrick McGowan would have been a good one.
Brian Blessed.
Brian Blessed.
Thank you. And
Although he's got a great Doctor Who part already.
yeah, well, I mean,
Varumnek.
oh, there we go. Ian McShane. There's another good one that would have been.
How about what's his name's that's doing the Late Late Show now that he's about to end it? British guy. I'm trying to think of his name.
He was
Short.
actually one of
Short, heavyset dude.
yeah. He was in.
He's been
the
a
11
companion.
Doctors. Yeah. He was
Yeah,
a companion.
yeah. He was actually in 2 episodes, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And now that
And
you mention
it was
I could-
wonderful. He was great in it.
That's
Actually, to make
A
that
lot-
character become a doctor.
Now you
Some-
would be surprised at how many people have been really vocally dismissive of him as a character on Doctor Who because they didn't like his other work in the late night TV show, and the one where they're riding around in the car and singing, and whatnot.
That's what made that show great. Especially the episode with Paul McCartney when they were in Liverpool.
Well, I mean, seriously, a lot of people would get upset at a late night TV host becoming an icon of British TV for what is undoubtedly one of the greatest iconic British TV shows. Now,
what do you think about Kenneth Branagh?
he's got the serious acting chops for it, but
Oh,
can he
he
do
does
comedy as well?
He does a lot. Well, of course, he did Shakespeare. There's a lot of comedy there, but he also played one of the teachers in the Harry Potter series.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
What was it? Chamber of Secrets.
Mm.
And he was the professor who didn't know how to do anything.
Oh, yeah, the one that was fake.
It turned out he'd been
He'd
only
been
thing he was really good at was
erasing
mem-
people's memories and
erasing
stealing.
people's memories and then taking credit for what they'd been doing.
Mhm. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, Donna, this is not the green room for another 5 minutes. Kenneth Branagh, or who?
However you spell his name.
Yeah,
That's
it's-
close enough. It's got enough letters in there to where it could almost be Welsh.
What is funny about that?
Thank you, Rich. The character's name is Laurie Lockhart.
Lockhart. Thank you, Professor Lockhart. Let me see. There we go. First time I ever saw Kenneth Branagh in anything was in Henry V, the production, the Shakespeare production they did.
Mm.
And strange enough, I was stationed in Berlin. I was dating a German girl at the time. She was going to university there in Berlin. They have a foreign film cinema. So we go in, we're watching an English movie with German subtitles. drinking beer in the theater, which shocked the heck out of me at the time. But and it's funny, all the German kids were like reading most Germans know English, so they can understand, but they're still reading. You can see them all squinting, reading the subtitles in the dark. And of course, I know English. My girlfriend knew English well enough because her father used to be British, and so she spoke English almost. She spoke English with a British accent. It's kind of funny.
Mm.
And then and her mother was just the sweetest German lady I've ever met in my life. Just one of those give you everything off her back, give you the shirt off her back, kind of person. And so we sat in there. That was a great movie to watch. Just, it was Shakespeare, but Kenneth Branagh's people did a really good production of it. But to get to my point, most of the people that were in that movie would have been great in Doctor Who. Brian Blessed was in it. Kenneth Branagh was in it. He would be a good Doctor Who or Doctor Who villain. One of it. He would be a good master.
Yes, definitely.
So would Eddie Izzard. Eddie Izzard
yes,
could play
yes.
a decent villain if he wanted to.
He has done so several times, actually. I don't know if you remember the Mockingbird Lane movie that was supposedly a pilot for a new Monsters TV series. That was actually really good. There was a movie where he was the bad guy. It was How to Kill My Girlfriend or something like that. It was basically he was trying to get somebody to kill the lady superhero of that particular universe, Gravity Girl. And I gave you one simple assignment. Kill the superhero. How hard can it be? Excuse me? Did you parse that sentence correctly?
You have now, Rich. That's
Tom Hiddleston, yeah. Don't know about Doctor Who, but definitely a companion or a villain. Well, there's a lot of actors that could step into that. I mean, Sir Ian McKellen, my God, could play.
He was in Henry V. That was another one of those that I was going to mention. Was not? I'm sorry,
Henry.
Not Ian
Henry
McKellen,
V is Doctor Who.
Ian. He's a great British actor. Ian
McKellen.
Hunter. No.
Played the android in Alien. Ian Holm?
I do believe that's correct. Yes.
Okay,
I could not remember his name.
Just died. Just died recently.
Mm-hmm.
Been in there. He was in everything.
Yep. Let's see.
And Rich says my super ex-girlfriend.
That's the one. Thank you, Rich. Thank you.
With Uma Thurman played the super ex-girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. Gravity Girl. I've got a copy of that. I need to watch it again.
And she was only slightly psychotic.
Only slightly? If you're a superhero, you're not going to be really well connected to reality because you're an unreal person in a real world.
Oh. Why do you think it's on at 12 o'clock at night?
Really? Hey, I frequently fall asleep while I'm talking here. And only about 0.8% of that is a lie.
I was kind of hoping Stephanie'd be on tonight.
No, she's not feeling well.
Yeah. I think Joe went to the convention, didn't he?
Yes,
he did.
Okay.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I went with him this morning. So
And we didn't get an update?
He was probably too worn out by the time he got back.
yeah, I can confirm.
You know what Joe is like at conventions?
What's the name of that convention?
HallowCon.
I'd never heard of it before.
The only reason that Joe stops at any time in a convention is because he fell over and went to sleep because he wore himself out.
Can't find his cane. Somebody bought his cane.
Bought his cane? No. I would understand stealing it, but I can't understand anybody giving him enough money for him to part with it.
Did you not hear he was looking at he was at the flea market thing, world's longest yard sale, and he stopped at some guy's table and he set his cane down.
Then somebody tried to buy it off the guy that owned the cane. And then, wait a minute, he walked up with it. That's not
you
mine.
don't have your hand on it.
And he was telling me, that's my cane. He says, no, I'm buying it. No, you do not understand. This is not for sale. This is my cane.
And I told Joe that he could have made a mint off it, selling to that guy if he wanted it that bad, but Joe evidently wanted it worse.
Next time he goes to that world's longest yard sale, put a price tag on the cane for $1,000.
$10,000.
Either A, nobody want to buy it for $1,000, or B, he can hobble away with $1,000 in his pocket.
Well, you get you a hurricane that folds up, and he could have that in a satchel or even in his back pocket.
What he needs for that thing is a leash.
What we need to do is put Joe.
Attach it to his wrist, attach it to the cane. As soon as he gets within, outside of like 3, maybe 4 feet away from the cane,
one of those,
snatch it up, it comes back to him.
iTag.
No.
The little iPod thing for his phone.
No, we need to get his cane put up for auction and make him buy it back. We'll see how high it can go.
I'd like to continue living long enough to retire, thank you.
That's something we need to do for HallowCon. Is have a Joe's cane auction.
Nope, count me out. I ain't touching this.
Just get you a price tag, and when he's not looking, slip it on the cane.
It'd be easier to get Donna to agree to put a price tag on his back.
True. No, seriously, when we're doing the auction, the charity auction, steal his cane and auction off, and have people in the audience just start bidding on it, like 2,000, 2,500, 3,000, 3,500.
I'm telling you, these ideas are making me want to go back this year.
Like you didn't want to already?
I was indecisive, to be honest with you.
Well, you were only there briefly. You have to experience the full weekend.
Bring some friends.
Yeah, really.
There's a novel idea.
Well, he did bring friends, but they didn't get to stay for very long. Well,
yeah, I'm probably
What convention was that anyway?
HallowCon.
Oh, no,
Joe's
the one he
convention.
went to today.
HarleyCon.
FarleyCon.
FarleyCon.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it before. This is the first time.
Farley is the name of the dog from For Better, For Worse comic strip. That's the one who died. And they had Farley Jr.
He had a heart attack saving the little girl from drowning. That's sad. Everybody cried when Farley died.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Mike, Jimmy, if it didn't involve you having to buy an international airplane ticket, I would say go for it. But I know how expensive it is to go from one continent to another.
Take a boat.
They make you give it back. Yeah.
And then just take another boat.
I'm telling you, FarleyCon, which is in Eastridge, Tennessee, they've been doing it for quite a while, and it's usually pretty small, but I'm telling you guys, we had an anime voice actor come to the convention. The place was packed. Like, I have never seen a small convention like this so packed.
Camp Jordan Arena is not real big. Okay, it's about the size of 2 school gymnasiums, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's just a big, convention arena type thing where you're going. They sell hot dogs. About it.
Well, I was trying to get Joe to get Wesley Ure and Kathleen Coleman from Land of the Lost to come to HallowCon, and Joe just says, "Do you have a sponsor to pay for them?" And I'm like, "Well, all you got to do is ask them, because they're actually they're right now they're advertising, hey, we'll do your convention." And yes, they're big time Saturday morning celebrities and a lot of bigger celebrities. They have this thing where they get in the yellow rubber raft, like you see at the beginning of Land of the Lost.
Oh,
Marshall, Will, and
post the
Holly.
advertisement for that on
Huh?
Stupid. Didn't you post that on Stupid?
Yeah.
Or
I tagged Wesley and Kathy in that too. So I was hoping they would see it and say, yeah, PM us and we'll tell you what we charge. Or I'm just thinking, you never know until you ask them.
Have everybody dress up like Chaka.
Well, they've actually had the guy who did play Chaka on there several times, and he doesn't ever have it on his head. He always has it next to him, and then one of the slee stack. But when they do their conventions, they do photo ops in the big yellow rubber raft, and then you'll see behind them, here's Lou Ferrigno, or here's Kathy Garber from Family Affair, or just a lot of different celebrities that just happen to be at the convention or whatever. And it's kind of the same thing that all the celebrities wanted to do the cameos or be a Batman villain in the 60s TV shows. Now you got the celebrities that want to do the photo ops with Wesley and Kathy in the big yellow rubber raft. And I don't know why, but I mean, they're nice people, and I like the show. And I occasionally post it in the Every Day is Saturday Facebook group. Put an episode in there every once in a while. But
Larry Niven did write 3 episodes for that. The one I remember is the Civil War soldier with a cannon.
I kind of remember that one.
Yeah.
Didn't he write the one where Holly comes back in time and talks to herself? Wasn't that one of his?
I do not remember. I know he wrote 3, but I don't remember the episode titles, or if they were spaced out a little bit, or if they were 3 in a row or whatever. But
now, was those the episodes, Dan, that it was still Land of the Lost, but it was kind of a revamped version of it that was on later, like late 70s or early 80s, maybe?
I want to say it was the original series.
Yeah. Because I know at some point they changed up the series a little bit, and they were still trapped, in prehistoric times, but they introduced some new characters. And
well, this would have been pretty much around the era they started exploring the fact that the Sleestak were remnants of a lost civilization rather than just monster of the week.
Right.
So
that might have been during that time. I don't know. I'll have to check into that.
As far as I know, it was the original series, but I could be wrong. I'm just working from memory. I'm not looking anything up. Now, he did do one of the. He did write a script, or donate one of his previous stories to be rewritten as a script for the animated Star Trek.
I'm
Mhm.
reading from the Land of the Lost list of Land of the Lost episodes on Wikipedia, and they've got all the episodes, what they were called, who directed them, who wrote them, and the date it aired on. And some of the people that wrote episodes for it: Larry Niven, Walter Koenig,
Mhm.
David Gerald, Margaret
Yes.
Mhm.
Min, Norman Spinrad,
Oh, that would have been a
Mr.
good one.
Dick Morgan, Wena Sturgeon, Barry Blitzer, Ben Bova.
Hmm.
Um, let's see,
Lovely gentleman.
DC Fontana,
Yes.
Yep.
um, Larry Niven, and David Gerald co-wrote an episode. They co-wrote 2 episodes.
Did they say what season they're from, or
That was first season.
first season? Okay.
Yeah, and then second season, Tom Sawyer, Bill Keenan.
Oh,
Wait a minute. Is that they don't have a link for Bill Keenan, but I'm wondering if it's the same guy that does Family Circus.
no, that's Bill Keene,
Oh, okay.
Keene. Yeah.
Let's see.
Which now, Bill's passed away, and or older Bill, Bill, was he spelled his name with 1 L, and the Jeffy from that was one of the kids in Family Circus, the
Mhm.
real Jeff Keene. And Dan always loves this when I say it. Yes, he's a friend of mine on Facebook. But anyway, Jeff Keene writes and draws all the Family Circus strips now. He's followed in his father's footsteps, which is nice.
Land of the Lost had 3 seasons. And let's see.
In a revival.
Did they have I didn't know they had a revival.
Bill
they had
was
the
just talking about it.
91
Yeah.
TV series.
It was, yeah,
Picked up by Nickelodeon.
yeah.
Started
Yeah.
on ABC, got picked up by Nickelodeon.
Yep.
Then, of course, the Will Ferrell abomination.
Yeah. We won't go
Well,
there.
And I'm sure I offended quite a few abominations when I said that.
The Marvel Comics abomination?
He probably got real pissed that I referred to him as Will Ferrell.
Yeah. Definitely. You'd be in for a really thorough thumping there.
I am not, as you can tell, a big Will Ferrell fan. Okay.
I am
But
not at all a Will
there is
Ferrell
one
fan.
movie I actually like him in. Stranger Than Fiction.
I might have to give that one a try because
Okay.
I
It's
hate
about
that.
Dan, you'll like it. It's about a writer with writer's block.
Now, why would I like that?
Trust me, you'll like it. It's just the character that plays the writer with writer's block is awesome.
Oh, okay. So obviously that character is not Will Ferrell.
No.
Well,
I don't know
I
why I
like Will.
dislike him so much. I really don't.
I liked him on SNL, but I never liked any of the movies. And that's the same way with Adam Sandler. I liked Adam Sandler on SNL, but and yes, I will even reference the what was it, the Water Boy or whatever the hell the name of that one was. It was slightly funny, but it just got to the point where he was just getting on my nerves. You know, and
I can well understand. There are people that are probably just absolutely wonderful folks and great actors, but the characters they play just drive me up the wall. I cannot stand.
I was reading an interesting quote the other day from John Wayne,
Yeah.
and he was talking about playing Rooster Cogburn in True Grit,
Okay.
and he loved that role. And he said, it's the first time I've actually gotten to play a character that was not John Wayne. He said, they haven't asked me to play a non-John Wayne character in 20 years. I'm loving the hell out of this one. Because he actually had to like play a character from a book. So, but
well, I think the one Adam Sandler movie that really kind of last nail in the coffin was when they tried to redo the Frank Capra, or they did a variation of the Frank Capra Mr. Deeds Goes to Town movie. And I think they just called it Mr. Deeds or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know if they call it
Yeah.
Oh, there was one.
It's funny you should mention that. I was just watching the original one the other day.
It's a wonderful movie. It really is.
Oh,
I like a lot of Capras. One of the ones I like the best with Jimmy Stewart, among all the ones I do like, is Little Shop Around the Corner, and you'll occasionally see that on Turner Classic Movies.
I like the Mr. Deeds courtroom scene where they're trying to have him declared insane because he's giving away all these millions of dollars. He's in the courtroom. He's talking about how everybody does something a little silly to help them concentrate. He points out everybody in the courtroom that's doing stuff to help them concentrate, help them think. And he's like, why, the judge over here, he's a circle filler. He's over there in a piece, and he's got this piece of paper, and he's filled in all the O's and the P's and anything B's and D's. He's filled in all the holes in the letters with the pencil. And he points at the other guy, Mr. is a doodler, and says, Mr. Son, he's a twitcher. And the guy's sitting over here, just like can't sit still. And the guy realizes he can't sit still. He's like trying to sit still. And
I think they were all doing that. The doodler would stop doodling. And what was the name of the character that was the hobo that he?
Okay, Donna, you got to go. Adam Sandler in 50 First Dates with Drew Barrymore. Don't mess with the Zohan. That was silly too. The only reason that he looked good in 50 First Dates is because they had the Hobbit guy in there that was playing an even goofier character than he was.
Sean Astin?
That's the one.
Oh, yeah.
And
now I will admit, as much as I dislike Adam Sandler, The Ridiculous Six was a fun, goofy movie. But and basically, I had just watched the Magnificent Seven, sort of. I don't even know if they went by that title, but it was a remake, and that came along at just the perfect time to where it was a parody of Magnificent Seven movies in general, and I just go, okay. Let me park my brain at the door. And it turned out I enjoyed the movie for being something goofy. But
Guilty pleasure movie.
I wouldn't say that. It was one of those, like I said, park my brain at the door.
My guilty pleasure movies are shoot 'em ups. And just the biggest one is, of course, Shoot 'em Up with Clive Owen and Monica Bellucci and Paul Giamatti, which it's a hilariously gory movie.
With me, it's kind of some comedies. I mean, Meatballs, which I think is underrated anyway, because and not just because Bill Murray's in it, but a lot of the other people that were in there were truly good actors and actresses, and you, other than Chris Makepeace, nobody else you ever heard from again after that. But
Chris-
and
now,
then
Chris Makepeace for a while there, he was in every teen movie for
mhm.
like 5 years. Every year he came out with a new teen movie, and then all of a sudden it was like,
He's
cricket.
not a teen anymore.
Yeah, not a teen.
No.
anymore. Who's the Bobby Benson? Robbie Benson.
Oh,
Robbie
Robbie
Benson.
Benson, yeah.
Robbie Benson.
Yep.
And like he was in everything for a while, and then just
Well, but he turned director though.
Yeah.
He did like what Potsy Anson Williams did.
whatever happened to Leif Garrett? And I have to bring this one up because August the 13th is my sister's birthday, and she had Leif Garrett posters every damn where.
Haven't the faintest idea personally, but then I'm not a teenage girl, so I
And
wouldn't keep track.
Sean Cassidy. She had
Sean Cassidy.
Sean
Yeah.
Cassidy, Gibb, Andy. Who's the heartthrob? Andy Gibb.
Andy Gibb. Well, he died. I mean,
Well, most of them have.
with
For
yeah,
Elvis, but
with
he
the
was
exception
pretty
of
popular,
one.
The youngest brother is the one that John's talking about.
Was it Andy?
Yeah, that's Andy.
Okay.
Now, Sean Cassidy was another one that went behind the camera. And the last time I saw Leif Garrett, he was kind of talking about his story about how he threw his career down the tube and that. And he was this bald-headed, had the mustache and goatee and a lot of tats all over him, and like that was the little teen heartthrob Leif Garrett with the long curly blonde hair, and
Hey,
it's like,
now his brother David turned out to be an excellent villain on the Wesley Shipp Flash back in the day, the original live action Flash.
yeah.
One of the best villains that they adapted from the actual comic books, Mirror Master. Smoking Gun presents. Oh, put Curie to sleep. No, he's just giggling at us.
Well,
All these
it
old
was
parts
Mark
don't know anything about entertainment. Yes.
Mark Hamill, didn't he play the trickster in the
Yes, he did.
John Wesley Shipp Flash? Yeah.
Yes, he did, and he actually got a chance to reprise the role in the new Flash, the one that's still running briefly before it comes to a close in its 9th season.
That's the problem with making a TV show about the fastest man on earth. It's gone in no time.
Gone in 60 seconds. Yes.
Well, and the new one's gone now too.
Well, I think it's out of production, but they haven't finished showing the episodes yet, if I remember correctly.
You heard about what now? Let's see. I'm hoping that people are still here that know what the heck I'm talking about. They were doing a Batgirl series or movie.
Yep.
And yeah,
It's gone.
Yeah.
The movie, yeah, it's gone.
The movie's gone too, but the TV series got canceled.
Yeah, let's see, they did one season with one actress, and she'd hurt herself rather severely, but kept going to the end of the season, and then they replaced her with a different character, not as the same person, but a different person, in the same role. And
the only thing I saw about it.
Well, no, she was the friend of Batgirl in the first season, and then after the character who played Hispanic girl, I can't think of her name now. I mean, she was pretty good, but anyway, after she hurt herself, then that's how they developed her taking up the mantle of Batgirl, and they were saying, "What the hell do you think you're doing? You're going to kill yourself," and it just kind of went from there. But which I liked the first maybe 2 or 3 seasons of Batgirl.
Batwoman was
Batwoman. I mean, yeah, Batwoman. But
thank you, Rich. You're exactly right.
Batwoman girl. Anyway, Ms. Batwoman. But yeah, the Batgirl movie,
There's a
I
Tom
don't know what
Jones song
happened.
in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She bat, we bat. Oh, no.
I think
No.
people are more
That
pissed off
that would be a
because
Cyndi Lauper song.
they wanted to see Michael Keaton as the Bat again, and he was going to be, and they slipped all these photos in and just to get everybody all excited about it, and then now they're not making it. And then the same way with the Flash movie, he was supposed to be in that.
He was going to be Batman in the Flash movie.
Uh-oh.
Oh crap! Now that ruins
Here go our
everything.
ratings. Jeez.
Did he
All
wake
right.
up? He woke up.
Thank you for being here, everybody.
Yes,
we
I'm awake.
we understand it. He's back.
Oh, Joe's
He's back.
Yeah.
hi.
No. Kerry there sent me a message just after I sent him the link. He said, I'm just now coming down off the high. And I says, yeah, well, I've already come down and I'm rolling through the cornfield in flames. Oh.
Yeah, I'm already at the tired part from the convention.
Oh,
I had to pull the blades off that darn zero-turn lawnmower this afternoon. I gotta get up underneath the deck, scrape all the grass out, hose it down with some Pam or something.
hose it down with Pam.
Yeah.
Never
Pam
heard of
please.
that, but since it's non-stick, that makes sense.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't it have the little hose poured on the deck that you can connect your?
That probably doesn't work very well.
But yeah, I wanted to buy a pair of jack stands today at the auto parts store, which I wanted to go to Harbor Freight, but I don't want to spend all the gas money driving up to Harbor Freight. What auto parts store? One jack stand, 2-ton jack stand, $50 for one.
You could buy a whole Harbor Freight store for that,
No kidding.
building and all.
Of course, I need 2 of them, and I'm like, I'm not going to pay $100 for 2 jacks. So I'm getting ready to walk
Don't you have
away.
any good auctions around there?
And I'm getting ready to walk away in disgust. I looked right next to it, and there's a bigger box that comes with 2 jack stands and a 2-ton hydraulic floor jack for $100.
Hey. I think we see where the deal is here.
It was $89.95 with tax. It was $96. And, so I get it home. Open it up. It's missing the handle. So I call them up, and they don't have any more, but they've got the same type of jack, just by itself, for like $130 without the jack stands. So they opened one up, gave me the handle, and they're going to send the other one back to China as a defect.
Yep.
Hey, okay.
We used to do that all the time.
Where were you at?
I went to Advanced Auto Parts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because it's the closest thing to the house that'll have jack stands. I don't want to spend $30 in gasoline to go buy jack stands.
Yeah.
Hey, but they'll only be $15.
If I knew
Maybe they deliver.
I thought about that actually. But I needed them today. And they still didn't do too much good.
Hey, Kerry,
Yeah.
tell you how tired I was?
Oh man, you still got that 20.
In my shirt pocket.
Oh no.
After your nap.
Yeah. Donna didn't know it was there.
That's why it's still there.
Yeah, you were still wearing the shirt. That's why you still got it.
Oh. No, but we had fun. We met Peppermint Patty today.
Mm-hmm.
Marcy
Yep.
too.
What? Hang on a minute, Joe.
Yeah.
You don't sound normal.
Hold on.
Little bit
is that
hollow.
a problem?
Hello, is that better?
Uh,
Hmm.
not really, no. But
Okay, can you hear me now?
much better.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
It's either you're really, really tired or there's something going off your sound.
I'm really, really tired. I'm yelling. Oh,
So you were talking about, and the reason I wanted you to sound better is you were talking about the convention. So I want to hear about your day.
oh, yeah. What's Patricia Patty? Was that her name?
Yeah, Patricia Pat.
Pat. Yeah, she's the current voice of Peppermint Patty.
And her name is
Okay.
actually Pat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I met Jim Lamb. I think that's his name. He's the original animator for He-Man.
Oh,
Hmm.
And
Probably on Bill's friends list.
don't mention the new He-Man to him.
there's a new He-Man.
Really?
Ooh.
Which one? They made several.
No, the new animated version that went on
Oh.
Netflix or
Oh,
Yeah.
not
okay.
Oh, he I made that mistake last year.
Remember,
Okay, do I
diversity
sound
is
better now?
important.
I am friends with the voice of the Baroness from G.I. Joe, and she actually does not ever have anything bad to say about any reincarnation of G.I. Joe after the Dick series was over with, with the Marvel
Mhm.
Sunbow series, but she will not say much of anything about any of the newer series. It's kind of like if you don't have anything good to say nothing at all, and that's kind of what she does.
What was her opinion of the movies?
I don't think I've ever heard her mention anything about the actual movies, but just the animated
Well,
series.
there was one live action one that I've seen, and it wasn't bad, and her character was in it as a major bad guy character, and
I think she was in all three of the GI Joes, and in wasn't she in Snake Eyes as well?
no,
The one
I'm
that,
talking about the live action.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then, which I know Snake Eyes was a little disappointing, but
Might have been the only one I've seen. I don't know.
well, I
I
mean,
enjoyed it.
it's an origin story, so I mean, go figure.
Hmm.
I
All
noticed a lot of Marvel movies have butchered origin stories. So, they're nothing like they were in the comic books.
Yeah.
Sometimes they feel like it's necessary to change the character
Like,
because they were invented in the 50s or 60s and not quite up to date anymore. I shall return.
well, when you
have been
think
warned.
about the live action He-Man one, that kind of tells you something.
Yeah,
I went ahead and conducted my first interview on the Anime Club's Facebook page, interviewing the voice actor Kyle Phillips. He was in My Hero Academia, which is more of a superhero anime that all the kids seem to like.
it's about a school for superheroes or something like that.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Mhm.
I think I saw the movie on a while back. They were all fighting somebody that.
Which isn't that kind of a twist on X-Men in a certain way because of the Academy and
Sorta.
Sort of.
I mean, I've only seen pieces of the episodes before, but I've never watched an entire episode of it. But then they did a DC one that was
Yeah.
somewhat similar, where they were all in high school, maybe, or something like that, and it was
Yeah.
all the female heroes.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a website you couldn't log out of?
No.
Hmm.
I got logged into a website for Square, the money, the credit card acceptance company,
Yeah.
Yeah.
took over the host for HallowCon. I just logged in and they don't have any of my page. And now I can't log out of it.
That's weird.
There is no log out.
That's weird.
Is the window too big or too small, or
No, it's everything's right where it should be.
Hmm.
I can't log out of the website.
can you log back in?
Well, you got to log out before you log in.
I thought maybe it would give you another shot at logging in because I can't see it.
That's what I'm trying to do. No,
I tell you to clear your cookies, but that's just gonna log you out of everything.
Yeah, we used Square, the estate sales last August, but of course we used the mobile app one, which was
yeah.
I didn't have any problem with it, but
Aha!
Now, either he's having a heart attack or he figured it out. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
or he's listening to the song "Take on Me."
One of my favorite rotoscope shows. Okay, that's,
I don't know which is more frightening, actually.
In that video, okay, the guy in the motorcycle helmet that's chasing the main character with the monkey wrench or whatever.
yes.
I always thought he looked like Basil Rathbone in the face.
Just a little bit.
I don't know if they purposely did that or what, but it's like, oh no, here comes Basil Rathbone in a motorcycle helmet
Trying to
with
remember,
a monkey wrench in his hand.
somebody else just recently, like in the last couple of years, did a rotoscope music video similar to that one, and now I can't remember who it was.
I remember
Oh,
the Family Guy parody of it.
Okay. All right. Oh, have y'all seen the remake of the acoustic version of "Take on Me"?
No.
By whom?
It's by Aha.
Oh, no, I haven't.
No.
They did. Oh, guys, it's a completely different song. It's slower. It's a slower acoustic song. It's absolutely awesome.
It would be like Eric Clapton's acoustic version of Layla.
Damn near it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they, basically they turn a pop song into a ballad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could hear that. I was going to say I could see that, but I could hear that.
Don't everybody speak at once.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at a list. I went to Wikipedia. They have a list of rotoscope works, and I'm looking at music videos.
Ah, okay.
And strangely enough, the one I can't find is, there it is. Take on Me, Train of Thought, and The Sun Always Shines on TV by Aha. I didn't know they had 3.
Well, you probably are seeing a mention of the Ralph Bakshi versions of Lord of the Rings.
That's under the movies, yes.
Mm-hmm. And then Wizards had a few rotoscope scenes in it
Wizards
as well.
in here. Let me see. Titan AE was done in
Oh
rotoscope.
yes. That was very well done, actually. They almost made that look as if it weren't rotoscope.
It was.
I think every Filmation cartoon from the 70s was.
They managed to tweak the animation just enough to where it looked like it could have been just hand-drawn cell animation instead of being rotoscoped.
And
it was very artistically done.
And for those of you who are in the audience tonight and don't know what the heck we're talking about, rotoscoping is a form of animation where they film the actors doing their skits, moving through their skits, and then they draw the animated pictures over the film, basically.
Over each frame of the film.
Over each frame.
Mm-hmm.
And
it gives a much more fluid movement to the animation. And
most of the early Disney stuff was rotoscope before they started doing everything in computers.
Some of the
that's why
some of the Fleischer Brothers Studio stuff was like that.
Ralph Bakshi,
that was much later. But there was another really classic Gulliver's Travels animated movie from way back in the day. That was rotoscoped as well.
Heavy Metal.
Heavy Metal, some of that was.
Heavy Metal. And Heavy Metal 2, for that.
And
some
American
of it, not all of it. Yeah. There were rotoscope scenes in, what was it, Hollywood?
Cool World.
Cool World. Yes, thank you.
And then Sin City.
Yeah,
The 2 movies from the Frank Miller comic books were actually, they film the actors, but then they go over it with like a airbrush rotoscope technique.
Yes.
Which is why you get that odd black and white film kind of thing.
There was some of the same sort of effects in the Spirit movie.
No, same thing. Yeah, that's another.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. If that had happened closer to when the first Sin City movie came out, it would have been a much more successful film. But they waited until the audience had other things to see and get distracted by. Snow White dancing, yes, indeed.
Snow White dancing. Cinderella was, that was rotoscope. Pinocchio was rotoscope.
This is rotoscope here from the New Adventures of Batman. How fluid.
Yep.
Well, it's that too, but everything that he does, and
that one flagpole flip there, that was stolen from the 1960s Spider-Man cartoon.
Probably.
I recognize it from every other frame in the damn series. Let's see, the Max Fleischer Superman cartoons. Some of those were rotoscoped, or well, parts of them were rotoscoped. Parts of all of them. And the thing is, it's neat if you animate it well. The animated characters look very fluid. What was the ones from the 70s and 80s? There was a Tarzan and a Lone Ranger, and I can't remember. Was it Lou Scheimer Studios?
Yep. Flash Gordon. That's one.
Yep.
And very much rotoscoped on that. And yes, I got Tarzan in here somewhere.
Hmm.
Um,
What was the production company on that? I'm trying to remember.
Lou Scheimer and Norm
I-
Prescott.
Okay, I was half right. So yeah, and
With
Mike
it was
Timmy,
all
you're
the
right. You're right.
filmation.
The hard
Every
part-
filmation one
the hard part
would
was getting the
been
gorilla to do all that acting so they could rotoscope over it.
yeah.
Oh,
But
They just-
yeah,
they
they
just-
did that with. Go ahead.
Oh, now nobody wants to talk.
nope.
This moment of silence is brought to you by calm.com, which, by the way, I guess that company is laying off a whole bunch of their people. I don't know if their people don't want to go to sleep using their app or what the deal is, but I heard that they're really cutting back.
A bunch of their employees were sleeping on the job.
Yeah. Okay, you're out of here.
That's what you get for using the product.
Mm-hmm.
But no, the majority of all the filmation, and even, the Groovy Ghoulies and Archie's Funhouse, all that was
Sabrina?
rotoscoped
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah, Sabrina,
Was
the
it
Teenage
Scooby?
Witch.
Was Scooby-Doo was rotoscope somewhat?
Barely.
Some of the running scenes where they would introduce the episode at the beginning, that could have been maybe. I think everything else was
Just standard
not
cello.
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cell
there would
animation.
be certain pieces of it that were, but
It depends, because they would actually have several people working. They did an assembly line style.
mm,
One person would do background movements, and another person would do actor movements and cars or whatever.
Yeah.
And as they move the picture and frame and cell around, everybody do their own little work. They'd literally have 50 people doing one cell. They'd get it done in 20 minutes,
mhm.
but one guy would only work on it for anywhere from 15 seconds to 3 minutes, depending on what they had to do, and move on to the next guy. And it was you'd see these long tables with light panels in them, glass light panels, and steel frames on the top and bottom that were sliding. And they take these frames that the pictures and everything are in, and one guy would do his little bit, slide it down to the next
Slide
guy.
it down to the next guy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he'd do his
Assembly
next little
line,
bit on
just
the
like
next
you
one,
said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
slide it down
The
to the next guy.
Henry Ford assembly line.
Exactly. And what was interesting about doing it that way, though, was that you could look at the guy in front of you, see what he did, and you'd figure out what the little next step in the animation had to be. So the actual assembly line of the rotoscope was almost rotoscope. Just the way they do it.
And if any of you want to see good examples of this, since I'll self-promote, join the Everyday is Saturday Facebook group. Today I did a Super Saturday where every single cartoon was superhero or somewhat related. I did Return to the Planet of the Apes and that. There's tons of rotoscope cartoons in there. And I just thought it was great because it did make it a little bit more realistic for animation. And you just didn't, because at that time a lot of people didn't know about the Fleischer stuff that was out back in the 40s.
Yeah, that was my introduction to it. But I was really, really young, and I didn't understand what the word rotoscope meant. But I knew that they had actually filmed actors doing stuff and then turned it into a cartoon somehow.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I was really, really young back then. Like 1958, 1959, that sort of thing.
This is from Fire and Ice, which is a Ralph Bakshi.
Yeah, well,
I've shown that before too. It's
don't
a little risque.
Don't get us banned here, John.
She's wearing a bikini, sort of.
Yeah.
Sorta is the operative term.
Either that or she's got a couple bad bruises. One of the two.
Oh my gosh.
Thundar the Barbarian.
Mosquito bites, yeah.
Yeah. And I showed that today too.
Really?
And I just got to say, I didn't know Kiri played the oboe.
There's that Flash Gordon one you were just.
Yeah, it's a shame that wasn't better. It really, it had such potential, but they didn't really write
it was like
much interesting stuff to go with it.
Well, the one thing about Flash Gordon, the Filmation Flash Gordon, they tried to keep it like the serial where you had the cliffhangers, and they would always start the episode talking about what happened in the previous episode like it was part of a serial. And which was kind of cool at first, but after about halfway through the first season, you're like, oh my God, okay, I already know what happened in the last episode. Let's, you're taking up too much time. I watched it
last week. Get to the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
In our last episode, Wonder Woman had been tied up with her own golden lasso.
You'd be amazed at how often that happens.
Yes.
Well, Aunt Martha lays in a ditch in Albuquerque.
Professor Zarkov invents a ray gun again.
Again.
Oh Lord,
Well, we ran the gambit tonight.
Yeah.
We could probably script out a cartoon that would be at least a good runner-up for classic Scooby-Doo, just with this bunch we got here.
So,
yoicks.
So, John, what's the price tag you're going to put on Joe's cane now when he's not looking?
Depends on where we're going. Just like if we're doing that world's longest yard sale thing, I'm going to put $1,000 price tag on his cane.
Or if Joe loses his phone again, we could always auction that out too.
We're thinking about auctioning off your cane at HallowCon's, Joe.
Okay.
I told him what you needed was a leash for the cane, but nobody wanted to listen to that.
Everybody has promised me they're going to make me a leather holster to where I can just put it across my back and it stays on my back.
Well, I thought I'd put it on your leg like Daredevil, have it where it folds in half. I have a hurricane that folds in 3 pieces. But because it's got that big feet on the end of it, it doesn't make it very good that way.
Kiri, yeah. I'm not going to put that one up, but if you want to, just say so.
Sorry, he's been blocked. I'm not putting up with that.
I missed it.
Stuff. You didn't miss anything, Bill. Believe me.
Darn.
And I don't even have the power to unblock them. So they're done. When the owner of the channel can't unblock them, you screwed up.
Really?
Thus is the power of the Holofield.
Zap! Was that the guy that said that this show would make him fall asleep?
Nope.
No.
Oh, okay. Different one.
This was a guy offering massages.
Oh my!
Had your name on it, Kiri. So. Yes.
Oh my!
No, I don't think you'd want to take advantage of this one. This is obvious. Obviously, this was a scam.
Maybe he meant to say messages.
No.
He had a message for Kiri.
He made himself perfectly clear. His meaning was absolutely transparent. Yes.
Perfectly. Oh, clear. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, since y'all started the show, y'all can wrap up the show. I'm just going to sit here and see how you do it.
Well, John's got full control. I'm only in the co-pilot seat, so.
I don't even have control of my bladder, so whatever.
And I'm sending the creepy massage guy to some random person who needs a massage anyway.
Oh, and I do want to say tomorrow.
Send him to 4chan.
At 7:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, you might want to tune in to all my Facebook channels.
So that would be
Or you might
Monday
not.
at 6:15
No.
p.m. Central Time.
No, tomorrow, Sunday.
Oh, Sunday? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. I
There
thought
was
you meant
31
Monday
days in the
originally.
past month.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Hello, boys.
There's
Remember
31
me?
days in this month.
It's time for
Well,
us
well,
to.
well,
It's time for us to place our wagers. How quick it'll be and before Joe Dog gets banned from streaming again.
I don't think he's actually going to get unbanned tomorrow.
that's what I was
We're just gonna have
wondering.
a rolling
What
blockade
makes you
on.
think that they're taking the leash off?
John, hit the button.
Say goodnight, everybody.
Good
My
night,
idea
everybody.
goes.
Thanks for showing up on the show. Oh, darn it. I hit the wrong button. There we go. That thing.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand, and touched the face of God.
If there's wiener on that monitor, I swear to God, Stu.